Migme Tebe Techin Chenezi, Dreammaking Ombo Champion, Duvoma, Johnson Samanda, Kanchin gave it Jujin Zonga, Osan Trabi, Shabla, so on dep. Migme Tebe Techin Chenezi, Dreammaking Ombo Champion, Duvoma, Johnson Samanda, Kanchin gave it Jujin Zonga, Osan Trabi, Shabla, so on dep. Migme Tebe Techin Chenezi, Dreammaking Ombo Champion, Duvoma, Johnson Samanda, Kanchin gave it Jujin Zonga, Losan Trabi, Shabla, so on dep. Chuji Java Zonga, Chujin Nama, Pewana, Kinji Chema, Shewan, Tunjin Mano Tamasho, Dadan Jisun Tuzan, Jerry Jolly not Jewa Losan Java, then by Yuri Baju. In Buddhism, remembering the kindness of one's parents and one's ancestors is very, very important because one has the perfect human body due to their kindness, and one has education, and one has health, and one has one's experiences because of their kindness. So therefore, to remember the kindness of one's parents and one's grandparents and one's grandparents' parents is extremely important. So therefore, we believe that after death, Buddhists believe that after death, you can take reincarnation to 6 realms. And those 6 realms, of course, determined by one's individual karma throughout one's life, previous lives, and most important, at the time of death, how you think will trigger what karma to open for you to take a new rebirth. So hence, practicing Dharma every single day to contain, to control, and to transform one's mind is very important, because if one's mind is contained and controlled, and one's mind is subdued and becomes a habit, it becomes a habituation of having a subdued mind, then whatever tragedies happen during one's life, one's mind stays very stable. And hence, at the time of death, it is a tragedy, because you've been very used to having your mind stable. At the time of death, your mind will remain focused and calm, and you can think of something very positive, like benefiting others, or praying to Lama Tsongkhapa, or thinking about one's root Lama, or thinking about His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or one can think about something like Ganden Monastery, or one can think of something like Trijang Rinpoche, something very positive. Then thinking like that, remaining calm, and quietly focusing on that, and not thinking about the people around you, or what you're leaving behind, or what's happening, or what's going to happen to your wealth, or what's going to happen to your possessions, but focusing on something positive, virtuous, or even on one sadhana that one has done every single day will trigger the karma that we have collected, or the good merits we have collected in previous life and this life, to open. Why? Because at the time of death, something needs to open. It's like you come to a fork in the road and you need to take a left, or you need to take a right, or you need to go straight. So therefore, when you're dying, it's like coming to a rebirth or reincarnation fork where you need to take a new rebirth. So when you need to take a new rebirth, what propels you to go left, straight, or right is dependent on the previous lives and this life's accumulation of merit and or demerit. And what triggers the merit or the demerit is a state of mind. So hence, it's extremely important for us to practice our state of mind on a daily basis. It is said in the Tantric teachings that the most powerful way for us to take a good rebirth is having complete confidence and faith and connection to our root Lama. So when we think about our root Lama and our root Lama's qualities and how kind our root Lama has been, if we think about that every day and we have that type of thought, at the time of death, when we think about that, automatically opens up powerful merits we have accumulated to help us take a good rebirth. Then one can think about one's Yidam, one can think about one's Dharma protectors such as Setrap, or one can think about the Lamrim or teachings, or His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or one can think about Ganden, or one can think about benefiting others. Even if you don't feel that you're very Buddhist, but you can think about Pensem ki, think about benefiting others and the wish to be a benefit to others. Even that would trigger positive karma for helping you to take a good rebirth. So therefore, at the time of death, it's very, very important. Unfortunately, not everybody has that good fortune to hear the Dharma, to train their mind, and to understand the nature of the mind, and to understand how reincarnation works. So because of that, at the time of death, for some people, it's quite a frightening experience, and it could be quite a scary experience even to think about it before the time of death. So hence, many people, when they die, take rebirth in many, many different realms of existence. And we can still accumulate positive merits, and we can dedicate a portion of it to them. The Chinese believe that on the 7th month, hell is opened up, and everybody leaves hell for 1 month to receive offerings, or to visit the dead, to visit the alive, to visit their family, to visit those who are they still are attached to. That is 100% correct or not, I cannot judge. But I think that thinking about the dead, thinking about those who have passed away, and remembering their kindness, and also even those that are not directly connected to you, but those who have passed away and who have taken negative rebirths, to think about their suffering and to want to quell or to relieve their suffering, I think that one is very, very beneficial. So in that way, the 7th month, according to the Chinese lunar calendar, is a wonderful way for us once a year to remember our ancestors' kindness and to do something for them. And also, it's very wonderful to remember the sufferings of others in other realms, to not think that it's just my relatives, but also to think about other people's existences. So therefore, during the whole year, if we do Dharma practice, it's wonderful. But during that month, if we wish to think about our relatives, then it would be wonderful during that month to create Buddha statues, to create tsatsas, to paint. If we have statues, we have tsatsas to offer gold, or to offer brocades, and to make extra offerings of, for example, flowers and water and incense, and dedicate it to the person that's passed away. We can even take the pictures of people that we love, and we can put it in front of the image and specially dedicate for them, or we can do a general one without any pictures. And even better, not just the people we love, but also all beings who have taken an unfortunate rebirth, we dedicate this merit to. So during that month, we can create tsatsas, sponsor statues, offer gold on them. We can also create Dharma books. Creating Dharma books is very, very meritorious, and dedicating it to other sentient beings who have taken rebirth in the lower realms, or particularly our family if we wish, or people that we know of, or friends. We can create a wonderful, wonderful tsatsas. We can ourselves go into retreats, ourselves go vegetarian for 1 month, ourselves refrain, or we can even on that month, for certain institutions that have this available, take monk or nun vows for 1 month and dedicate. So those are very, very powerful methods that we get directly involved. We do something directly, and we get involved directly, and we dedicate it to others. So going vegetarian, refraining from doing negative action of any type. And also, for example, drinking or smoking, not doing that for 1 month, or reduction of it, whatever it is, to dedicate to sentient beings who are in a suffering state. So another wonderful method to help them also is doing different types of pujas. It can be medicine Buddha pujas, it can be Tara pujas, or in this case, Setrap pujas. So Setrap pujas would be wonderful, because in the Setrap puja, you have the 7 limbs. The 7 limbs of invitation, requesting to stay, making offerings, confession of one's negative actions, also requesting the wheel of Dharma to be turned, requesting that all sentient beings receive Dharma, dedication, rejoicing. Most important is rejoicing. So all the 7 limbs are included in the Setrap puja. And Setrap is a special Dharma protector of our Kichara house. Kichara house is something that is under my spiritual care, if I may say so humbly. And since I come from Ganden Monastery, my monastery, Ganden Shartse, has been worshipping Setrap and relying on Setrap's powerful, skillful help for the last 600 years, since the inception of Ganden Monastery. So therefore, if it is good enough for all the monks there, and the high lamas and the great geshis and the great teachers for the last 600 years certainly be very good for all of us. And I've heard a few wonderful, miraculous stories of how Setrap helps from the old and high lamas, and those are very, very touching. So I think in our center, it is very good that we do Setrap practice, and it's very good that we do Setrap puja, and doing that Setrap puja to make as much offerings as we can. And while we're doing the Setrap puja, to have a very good motivation. It doesn't matter how we look, doesn't matter how we sound, it doesn't matter how we appear. We should dress well and clean and comfortable. And we should be also, practice the puja, not to look good, but practice it in order that when Setrap is invited during the puja, we may make the offerings very beautifully to him. Then also, when we're doing the puja, we should have our mind focused on the puja and benefiting others. So we should think all sentient beings who have taken rebirth in the negative realms. My Lord Setrap, in your skillful means as a Buddha who can emanate millions, hundreds of thousands, hundreds, tens, multitude of emanations, you can emanate simultaneously to benefit them. For all those sentient beings, may they be blessed by you, Setrap, who is no different than Amitabha Buddha, the Buddha of the Western paradise. And in the Chinese tradition is very beautiful because those who chant Amitabha's practice, chant Amitabha's Dharani and Sutra every single day, and then they do intense chanting non-stop for 7 days. It is said that when at the time of death, that Amitabha will come from Sukhavati and bless the disciple to take rebirth in Sukhavati in the presence of Amitabha. So Chinese also have that kind of thinking, have that kind of practice, and have that kind of firm Mahayana basis. And that is true. That is absolutely correct. So that one is not Chinese legend or Chinese superstition. That's absolutely true. If we do Amitabha practice well, completely well, we can take rebirth in Sukhavati. So Setrap is just another form of Amitabha. So therefore, Setrap is extremely appropriate for if Chinese people wish to practice. Of course, Setrap himself will not take bias whether you're Chinese or not Chinese. But being Chinese, there's a special connection to Setrap because it is Amitabha. And Chinese seem to favor this Buddha very, very much. So therefore, I'm extremely pleased that for the 7th lunar month, that Kichara House, its working committee, and its staff, and also its members, and everyone will be doing Setrap pujas to dedicate to the hungry ghosts, to the animals, and also to the hell beings, to all sentient beings who suffer. So doing that is excellent. It's a wonderful way of thinking about other people's kindness and reflecting on other people's sufferings. So I wish everybody great success and great luck. And I'm extremely pleased that Kichara House does this puja, and I hope that it becomes a yearly tradition. I offer you my felicitations. Janju Senjo Rinpoche, Majipana Chigichi, Chebane Bebe Mayang, Gonu Gonu Pewasho, Tony Tonwa Rinpoche, Majipana Chigichi, Chebane Bebe Mayang, Gonu Gonu Pewasho, Gewandi Nududa, Lama Sange Dugune, Draw Jiga Malopa, De Sala Gobara Show. Chuji Jabo Zonkaba, Chuji Number Pevola, Kijima Shamadan, Tujimano Zamasho, Dadan Jizin Tudan, Driver Johnny Latin, Javalos and Draba, Demba Yurin Banju. Thank you.